Congratulations, John, on being inducted or elected into the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
So what's your memory, your very first memory of bowling? I know your dad bowls, I think your mother bowled.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your first memory of bowling?
First memory would be bowling adult youth with my dad. We bowled in a league at Regal and at Bonanza on Sunday mornings. So I remember I was really young. I was probably 3, and I was bowling with him. And at the time, to practice, they made a little bowling lane in the basement for me. My dad put up 2x4s. We had a couple pins. He had carpet. And he'd get home from work, and we'd go down there, and I'd just practice in the basement with him. So that would be my first memory.
So you were 3 years old when you started bowling?
They said 2. I mean, obviously
okay.
I don't remember 2, but yes, they said it was about 2, 3 years old.
So at what point did you fall in love with bowling?
I would say probably in like junior high. I mean, let me rephrase that. I loved it from the beginning. I loved going to watch my mom and dad bowl. I remember being a kid, Friday nights at Arc Sterling. My sister would drop me off when they were close to being done. I'd watch them finish, and then I got to bowl after. They would go in the bar, and the guy at the counter would let me bowl for free all night long. As long as they were in the bar, I was bowling for free, and I would bowl until they closed. So that's when I fell in love with it. I remember younger bowling there, and I would just go up to the foul line, stop, and throw, and that's how I would bowl. And then the guy behind the counter was like, all right, if you want to keep bowling, you're going to learn to actually bowl. You're going to have an approach. We're going to do a 4-step approach. If you at the foul line, that don't work. If you're bowling that way, you're not bowling.
So what's your fondest memory associated with bowling?
Oh, man. I have a couple. My first ones will be me and Dad shooting 300 together. They say that the first time, you can never beat the first time. However, the first time we did it, my mom wasn't there. She had just gotten out of the hospital. So when we did it in 2016, she was there to see it in person. That's one that sticks with me. When I think about it, that's one of my top ones. The second one would be the team all events taken over at USBCs. There again, that year, that was the first time my parents had ever come. So my parents were there, my fiance was there. It was incredible that there was other bowlers that had family there and it was an incredible feeling to have them there when we did that.
So what does bowling mean to you?
It means everything to me, not just because of the sport, but the friendships and the extended family that I've built from that. I'm very fortunate for the people that have come into my life from bowling, not just on the lanes, but off the lanes. And I would say that that's more important to me, of the friendships that I've built that will be lifelong. And that's what this sport has given to me, and I'm very fortunate for that.
So at what point in your life did bowling become more meaningful?
High school. I would say high school. When, bowling in high school for Tom Stockton, and then my dad was coaching, and that was something that was really special. It was getting to bowl for my dad, winning the state title, and him being the coach. And then after I got out of high school, then I coached the high school team with him. I would say that's when, that's the, I'm sorry, what was it?
Meaningful.
Meaningful. That is the, wait, what did we say?
That's when bowling became more meaningful.
That's when bowling became more meaningful, yes, in high school, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So how did you feel the day that Phil called you and told you you'd been elected to the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame?
I had a lot of emotions go through me that day. It meant the world to me. but it meant the world to me for my parents. My parents have sacrificed so much for me to be able to do what I love when I was younger, traveling me around for MJMAs, JTBAs, Junior Gold, and they sacrificed so much for me. So as much as I am honored, like this, for me, this is for them, you know, to show everything that they've done for me is paid off.
So what does being a Hall of Fame member mean to you?
That the accomplishments that I've been fortunate to have throughout my career, that's hard. How to answer that? It's shows me what I've achieved, what my bowling career, where I am and still hope to go in the future, my accomplishments, and I'm sorry, I'm stuttering on this one. How to word that? I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Like,
It's okay. Take your time and think about it, and then can you react?
Yep.
yeah, I'm trying to. I don't, because I'm not one to say like, oh, you know, I've earned it, or you know, I feel better about myself. I'm trying to, like, I don't want to have like improper wording to that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'll ask the question again.
Okay.
So what does being a member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame mean to you?
It means the world to me. It really does. You know, the people that are in the Hall of Fame, to be acknowledged and to the level that they're at, and to be into that group is incredible. I'm completely honored, and it's an incredible feeling.
You're still a young man, so don't take this wrong when I ask you, okay? But looking back over your career, what does that mean to you?
Shows the hard work, all of the effort put in was worth it. It's been a long career so far, and hopefully it's only halfway there, and I got plenty more to do. I have goals that I have not achieved yet that I would really like to, but the goals that I have achieved, it's incredible when you look back to see what I have accomplished.
Okay, again, you're a young man. What does the future hold for you in bowling?
I definitely still want to compete at the highest level possible, within the boundaries. I've been fortunate enough to bowl with my father for many years. I still bowl with him in leagues to this day, and I hope that at some point in time I get to do that with my son. I'm hoping that he'll want to do that with me as I get older, so hopefully we'll be able to keep that tradition going.
So you talked about the USBC team all events in 2022.
Yes.
So tell me about that 2 days with your team. Well, you had two teams really, but
Yep.
with your two teams and how you bonded together or how you challenged and accomplished what you did.
It was an incredible 2 days. You know, it started off with a little chaos the first day, and I remember Ronnie pulling me aside, and he goes, you know, when chaos happens like this, it normally turns into great stories. So let's remember that. And I was stressed as could be, and we got down to the lanes, we started bowling, things started going really well. We got down to the end, we just came up short, and it stung. It definitely stung. You know, Jay pulled us all aside right away and was like, listen, there's a bigger picture. Let's not forget tomorrow. I know this hurts right now, but let's regroup and refocus for tomorrow. And, you know, that night wasn't as much of a celebration as it probably would have been, but, you know, we all hung out. We were having a good time. You could tell not the ending we wanted. The next day, though, we were hanging out throughout the day. Everybody was focused. We got to the lanes, and there wasn't really even any like major thoughts of it. Like, it just started off so well, and then just rode the wave, and it was absolutely incredible. And at any time that somebody was struggling a little bit, somebody else had the absolute nut, and it was so easy. I'm a big numbers guy, so I always pay attention to numbers, and that day I didn't. I really had no idea where we were at. I remember getting up in the 10th frame, and I 4-pinned. I was a little disappointed. I spared it, struck, I come back, and I was talking to Perry, and I was like, are we going to be short again? Like, was that needed? And I remember him looking at me going, you guys ran it over by a mile. You've already passed it. And I just turned around, and like the tears were in my eyes. I looked at Ryan, got off the lanes. I looked at him. Jay and Ronnie were still up bowling, and I was like, we did it. He's like, what? I was like, we did it. According to Perry, we've already passed it. And it was absolutely incredible. But when we finished, like, all of the family coming over to hug us, my mom and dad came over instantly, and it was an incredible moment. I will never forget that moment. All the family, I remember Katie being in the back, and I was waving her to come down to me because the year before was not a great year for me on the lanes out there, and her and I had a lot of conversations about me being able to lighten the load and actually try to enjoy it instead of just getting so frustrated. So, it was an incredible moment. I'll never forget that one.
You had a legendary youth career.
Yes.
I think you averaged 247 as a youth, MJMA, JTBA.
Yes.
So talk about your youth career a little bit.
It was an incredible youth career. I loved bowling at Sunnybrook, not just to be able to bowl there, but just the atmosphere that was there. I worked at Sunnybrook for many years for Randy and Cheryl Shank, and they were wonderful people. But bowling there, they made bowling so much more in youth bowling in our area. So bowling high school there, it was incredible. And like I said, my parents took me anywhere I wanted to bowl, they took me. So if it was MJMA, if it was JTBA, wherever it was a Saturday morning, we were traveling. A lot of the times I had a lot of my friends that were bowling in the car with us as we were traveling. So I bowled a lot, and that was probably one of the benefits for me working at the bowling alley. I was bowling there 5-6 times a week, and the more you bowl, the more you repeat. And I don't want to say it's easier, but when you're repeating shots, good things happen. So I bowled a lot throughout probably 8th grade till out of high school, a ton. I was in the bowling alley every day of the week. So, and thankfully I was able to have some pretty good success. We won a state championship in high school. In 2005, I was Mr. Bowler. I had 6 MJMA titles, 2 Bowler of the Years. So I was very, very, very fortunate. So.
All right, so now I've got 5 rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Mackinac Island fudge.
So if bowling never came into your life, what activity would you be involved with today?
Golf. I am involved in golf, but I think I'd be involved a lot more in golf.
So what's the weirdest leave you ever left?
Oh, well, I've left a few 5, 7, 10s. I left one at the Gabby just a couple years ago. I think the whole bowling alley knew I left it.
So while bowling, what's your favorite beverage?
Ooh, Captain Diet.
So what's your favorite concession food in the bowling center?
Pizza. Easy.
Very good.
Easy answer there.
Okay. So you have one last thing to do. You're going to look right into the lens here. You're going to say, "Hi, I'm John Kelley, member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame, class of 2025.
Let's say that one again.
Hi, I'm John Kelley, member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame, class of 2025.
Hi, I'm John Kelley.
It's okay.
Member of the Detroit Hall of Fame.
Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame.
Detroit Bowling. Hi, I'm John Kelley. A member. Say this again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm John Kelley.
Yeah. Hi, I'm John Kelley.
Member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame.
Member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame.
Class of 2025.
Class of 2025. Hi, I'm John Kelley. Member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame. Class of 2025. Hi, I'm John Kelley. Member of the Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame. Class of 2025.
You nailed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
I was